What's good, YouTube? Welcome back to the Brown Gent. We got some exciting news here today as we cover the final liquidations of that DeFi Kingdoms whale, Druid72, who's had a significant price impact on the price of our favorite token for our favorite Web3 game, DeFi Kingdoms. What's crazy about the whole thing here is I covered this a few weeks ago, talking about how this DFK Whale had such a huge bag of Jewel, and they were seriously considering liquidating all of it. You could tell it just from the way that they were selling Jewel consistently, 100K at a time, and that rate has increased as we sort of got into the final stretch. And now we're sitting here with the DeFi Kingdoms whale having about 250,000 Jewel left in their wallet. What does all this mean, and what are we seeing with the price of Jewel? Well, that's what I'm going to cover in this video. But before we get into that, make sure, if you haven't done so already, hit the like button, hit subscribe, and also just make sure you share the video. Help us get to 5,000 subscribers. So over here, what I'm showing on the screen is actually the Druid72 wallet. And this was a wallet that had over 6 million Jewel at one point. And now, as of this morning, as of right now, they're sitting with 250,000 Jewel. The price of Jewel is sort of outdated here, and we're going to talk about that in a second. But, you know, it's almost become somewhat of a meme at this point. People, we should just have this Druid72 tracker. I know that the DeFi Kingdoms official Discord, they renamed price discussion to like whale watching discussion, because everyone was looking to see what was happening with this whale. Let's see who we've got watching so early on a Sunday morning. Antoine Philippe, bullish. Hello, Brown. How's it going? We got Sir Jewel Staker, time to buy. And you know what? The price of Jewel, what's going on here? See that big pump? 9.261 cents. But remember, context is everything, because we love when Jewel pumps, don't get me wrong, but you know what I hate to see? I hate to see people going on Twitter and now trashing people about, look how great Jewel's doing, look, you guys suck. This happened last time when we went from 10 cents to 16 cents, and I was very clear with people, look, we got to take the good with the bad. We can't be sitting there ragging on people when we're going up, and then we can't be sitting there crying when we're going down and wondering why people are coming after us. You get what you put out there. So while Jewel is seeing a significant pump, let's not forget what we've actually seen. And that's why I've sort of kind of zoomed in. Now I'm going to zoom out to show you a bit more context of our journey, where we are and where we're going. And back on August 6th, we were sitting around 12 cents. At 12.75 cents on August 6th, when I covered this for the first time, one of the things that I mentioned was, look, this whale is clearly going to sell 6 million Jewel. I don't recommend anyone purchase any Jewel until that whale has liquidated a significant portion, because the price impact is incredible. Besides, if you knew someone was going to sell, why would you, like, we were getting intel. This is why I love the blockchain. Where else would you be able to tell how much someone has to sell of an asset? You wouldn't. But in this case, you see it ahead of you, and we're able to plan appropriately. Now, the first few days, people were like, no way. Now listen to Brown Jen, he's an idiot. Hey, look, maybe I'm an idiot. Even though I'm right, even though I was right here, that doesn't prove I wasn't an idiot. Don't get me wrong. But what I'm saying here is the reality, you gotta just use common sense, right? If somebody's gonna keep selling, if you know somebody's dumping, why would you give them a better price to dump at? Or would you rather punish them and make them sort of sell off at a way worse price, have significant like price erosion, and then only after they've had to take crumbs, for their precious Jewel, then we swoop in like vultures, buy the Jewel up at a way lower price. We're able to get much more Jewel. And for the first few days, I think people were buying it back. People started seeing it was sort of futile. And I remember talking to a few people in like our private Discord saying like it felt like a kick in the nuts. There was that meme going around with those, I forget what it is, when those guys getting kicked in the balls. And people started saying, hey, you know what, I'm going to wait. And we just started seeing significant sell pressure. We went all the way down to 7.7 cents. Now, or even 7.4 cents. Now, don't get me wrong. I was not good enough to be able to buy it over here. In fact, I bought the majority of my Jewel back at 8.1 cents. And when I say bought it back, I didn't DCA at all during this point. I have not bought Jewel in quite a bit of time. If I buy Jewel, it was always in like the 50 to 100 Jewel increments. And that's only so I can like buy a set to send to Clayton to summon with Gen 0 heroes. I wasn't buying Jewel proactively and stacking. I got like, I think it's like 10,000 Jewels sitting at the jeweler. Now, one thing I will say is, and I was talking, I think, with Colin about this, a little frustrating. I could not, for the life of me, use swipe left. So while this is fantastic and you have a new onboarding protocol here, I don't know why it's not loading. Okay, whatever. Anyways, it's not loading. But the challenge with swipe left is it's not available in Canada. And I was having problems with this, like even, yesterday and today. I thought it was potentially user error, but I have another wallet that, let's just say, I keep secret. I don't do anything DeFi Kingdoms related on it, but I keep it secret because I want to keep it separate from my YouTube account for tax purposes and whatnot, right? So I bought a couple $1,000s worth of Jewel there. So I have like 20-something thousand Jewel on that other account. And I used whatever fiat I had available on this wallet. So I'm sitting with 4,500 Jewel. Not bad, obviously not as much as I'd like. That being said, I have a huge investment in DeFi Kingdoms. As you know, I have 6 Genesis heroes. But I want to say to everybody watching and sort of the DeFi Kingdoms community, congratulations, we won. Like at the end of the day, the reality was, look, Druid was part of this community. They bought, they sold, they did whatever. We don't know if they left for personal reasons, whether they stopped believing in the game, whether they needed the money. So be it. I'm going to assume they needed the money because why would you hold all the way on the uptrend, wait for sort of the lowest point of Jewel's history, and then dump, right? Doesn't make much sense. I mean, there could be another reason. Hey, Druid, if you're watching this video, DM me, go on Twitter, email me. I would love to have you on the channel. I would love to do an interview. But besides all of that, what I would say is we were able to sort of band together as a community and for the most part limit our Jewel purchases. And by doing that, we were able to bring the price down of Jewel significantly. And obviously, it was somewhat of a deterrent for the whale to sell. They kept selling, so be it. And now all of us are sitting there buying back in. From what I've heard, Frisky Fox even made a significant purchase of Jewel. And then a ton of people followed, buying hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of Jewel back. And honestly, this is a way better circumstance for Jewel, and I'll tell you why. Would you rather have a few people owning the majority of one of the tokens or Jewel, or do you want to spread out, right? It's in the spirit of decentralization. I would rather have 1 million people all owning 10 of something than 10 people owning a million of each, because then they have such more of an impact when they sell, right? Drew 72, I'm sure they're not the first, and they won't be the last whale that exits the game. That's just the nature of sort of money. Money is cyclical. But as we spread that out among the community, and the way we do this is by getting the price to be as low as possible for us, and then we buy it back up, right? We didn't buy it 10 cents. We didn't buy it 9 cents. We didn't buy it 8 cents. I guess I bought it 8 cents, but it went to 7.4 cents. And then back to 8 cents. And now Jewel is knocking on 9 cents, right? 9.261, which is incredible. Like, this is exactly what we wanted to see. And we have the 10-cent resistance coming up. But for all of you who sort of waited and sort of bought that dip and sort of done it, congratulations. Remember, at the end of the day, none of this would matter. I'll tell you why. Because regardless of the short-term price action, what matters is the long-term sentiment. And I've been saying this from the start. Let me look for this, actually. I made a tweet a couple days ago about Jewel. Let me find it. Here we go. If you're worried if you're worried about the price of Jewel, you're focusing on the wrong thing. And the reason for that is because there's so much more than just the price of Jewel. The price of Jewel is temporary. What you've really got to look at is the team. Are the teams still doing their AMAs? Are the teams still transparent? Are they still building? Are they still going to congresses? Right? I think the community is way stronger now than it was 2 years ago when Jewel was sitting at its heyday, like a year and a half. I guess a year and a half to 2 years ago when Jewel was sitting at the highest price. And that's just the reality of it, right? The reality of it is the game has come so much further. A lot of us have actually had the opportunity to meet many people in the DeFi Kingdoms like team. We got to go visit, I got to meet Crypto Grady. I got to meet the Mythic Squad, Christian Peter, Sergeant for the McNasty, Sticks Intern, people who I normally wouldn't have had an opportunity to meet during this bear market. And there's so much going on. There's still all of that fear in the market. Let's not forget we're also in a terrible macro environment, right? Always look at this, the crypto fear and greed index. It's so important because as the fear is high, or if the greed index is below 50, this indicates opportunities where you can buy. And while it's referring to really Bitcoin controls all the crypto. So that's why we see things like the Bored Apes and DGods and everything else start to slide, because people are worried about just the crypto assets as a general. And Jewel is, for better or worse, the jewel in this space, and a huge opportunity because none of us are investing to make pennies. We're all investing hoping to make millions of dollars, right? Not financial advice. But the reality is we've got to wait for the long term, and because the long term is what we have to look out for. Short-term price fluctuations in Jewel are sort of immaterial. The only time they're good is they allow us to increase the size of our bag. And I don't mean the dollar amount, I mean the number of Jewel, right? And that's sort of how you've got to look at this. If you truly believe in this game, if you truly believe in this concept, even if you believe in the DFK chain subnet, which is what uses Jewel for gas, well, then you want to increase as much Jewel as possible, because people will come to use that blockchain. People will be using DeFi Kingdoms. And when all of that happens, the price of Jewel will go up over the long term. In the short term, take these opportunities to increase the size of your bag, because you don't want to be the person who's kicking yourself later on saying, hey, honestly, I wish I bought more. And typically, whenever you look back, look at the biggest stocks in the world. At some point or another, people could have bought them for pennies on the dollar. And people were like, oh, I don't need it. There's too much. Who cares? And now all they have to say is, should have bought more. That's just the reality of it. And that's just human nature, right? So remember, always make sure you're having fun. Don't risk more than you can afford to lose. This whale at this point has $250,000 or 250,000 Jewel left, and they have zero price impact now. What's happening is the price of Jewel will sort of not care about this whale unless they have more wallets and such. And that would be a really strange twist to this whole thing, because we're sort of fighting the end boss that we know and not the one that's in the shadows. But so be it. I hope this has been a sort of a learning lesson for sort of everybody. Hey Chozo, how's it going? And we got Large and Charge to say buy the dip. Yep. Now I think I made a tweet this morning saying, hey guys, if you're considering getting in, not a bad time to do so, because that whale is pretty much near the end. And since I posted that, this was 2 hours ago. When they were 2 hours ago, they had 1.5 million Jewel left. And in that 2 hours, they dumped 1.25 million Jewel, right? But still, once we started seeing the different nature of the chart, the fact that that whale, even though they were continuing to dump, the price of Jewel was stabilized and more values were coming in. It was fantastic. And if you haven't done so already, I haven't had a chance because this video is quite long. The trade room actually apparently did a video last night doing sort of a full analysis on the Jewel chart. I do very basic analysis here because I don't want to sort of confuse people and I don't have much time. But hey, if you want to check it out, give Trade Room a follow, go watch their video. Anyways, I hope you guys have a fantastic weekend. I'm not here to really say anything else. If you want to, follow me on Twitter at the BrownGentYT. I post it regularly. Trade Room, I just gave you a shout out. And while we are live, we're about to exit. But at the end of the day, make sure you like, subscribe, share this video with your friends. Go out there and buy some Jewel, not financial advice. And until next time, I want to thank you all for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.